What is up, you guys? We are here, No Apologies, the podcast where we give you the raw, the real, and how we feel. We are your hosts. My name is Mo.
And my name is Casey.
Let's get into it. All right, first of all, we came up with the name No Apologies because if you said what you said, you need to stand on it and be unapologetic about it. Let us know what you think about the name in the comments below. I am so disappointed. Okay, so disappointed. At the beginning, we do appreciate you guys for the views, but nobody left any comments, man. We really want to know if you're feeling the podcast. I know some of you asked us for visuals on our personal social media platforms. However, Better Benefield on any spectrum, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You can always reach us on Twitter as well. We do answer back. We will be pushing our live feed on Facebook coming up in a few. Also, we will be taking inspiration from Facebook posts and Twitter. Make sure you comment in the section below on our YouTube channel so that we can either feature your comment or we can talk about that topic that you left there for us.
Well, the good thing about the podcast being unapologetic, I have no apologies and standing on what you said. Today's show is really about people that did not do that should be.
Also, aside from Mo and Casey, we have little one, our little butterbean Kaden. Say hi. Alrighty, it's star in the making. We're gonna cover free speech and the policy thereof. There are a lot of people that have a lot to say, but is it what you need to hear? I feel you on that, bro. I feel you. But we're gonna first dig into this Elon Musk situation where he overtook Twitter, paying $44 billion for the purchase of this app just to fire everybody. It is absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand it, for one. And then for two, how can you sit there and do that and then the use of the N-word and racial slurs go up by 400%? 500%.
They're actually up 500%. And that's the thing that is most disturbing, that now you have white supremacists and Nazi sympathizers coming out and basically thanking Elon Musk for the platform now for their hate speech and hate speech propaganda. So Better Benefield is going to be on a lot of platforms, but I see that a lot of people are talking about switching to MySpace and other forms of social media. That might be the move for us because I'm not going to be in support of Twitter, and you got like a lot of people coming for Elon right now. Talking about charging $8 to have a Twitter account now.
Yeah, honestly, now one thing they did say on SNL, we watch SNL almost every week. Well, we try to. They were talking about us going back to MySpace and making that pop. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I am a '90s baby, and we had our graphics. You click on my page, my I ain't never had nobody show me y'all. Listen. I think if we get back on MySpace, we could make it work. Okay, personally. But moving on with freedom of speech, and it's kind of crazy how you said, say how your personal opinions. Kyrie Irving, my guy, what are we doing here?
Okay, so for you all that are, I'm not going to put any people out there because I'm not trying to start an argument. I want to have a debate, not an argument. I've seen a lot of posts of people saying that, hey, why don't we get behind Kyrie Irving because he said this about black people and we should support each other and we should rally together. And then there was a couple of people saying, oh, you guys forgot that Brett Favre stole that money out of Mississippi from all the poor people. No, listen, here's the difference. Black people, we should be united. But that does not excuse us being united for a fool, or even worse, being united for a fight that is not our business. Kyrie Irving works for the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are employed by the NBA. Please tell me what job that you could come and express your personal views, even if they're adverse to your employer, and still have a job. If one of us made anti-Semitic tropes or some type of homophobic slurs or racial slurs at our job, we'd be fired.
And I do agree with that. And my thing is this. One thing I don't like about our community is that we band together on the wrong things at times. The whole thing with Kyrie Irving, just like that whole what is it, R. Kelly versus his what's it
Robert.
Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I couldn't even think of the man's name. It doesn't matter. Wrong is wrong. When you train up a child, you don't say, "Hey, don't do this only if." You say, "Don't do this because it's wrong." So if we start deviating from that as adults, how are we going to bring up the next generation? And then secondly, as a black man, how can you sit here and not hold yourself accountable to what you say and think throwing money is going to solve all your issues?
I'm not going to comment on who posted it, but somebody said that this is blatant censorship, and the Nets are making Kyrie Irving do all this other stuff so that he can have a job, and people are comparing him to the late great Muhammad Ali. But let me tell you the difference. Muhammad Ali didn't get a paycheck. He didn't walk anything back. He said what he said, and he stood on it, 10 toes down. If Kyrie feels this strong about it, don't pay the fine. Don't meet with your boss. Don't meet with the Jewish council. Don't do any of that. Say, hey, I said what I said, and I'm standing on it, because that way we know where you stand. We can't be in a fight with you if now that you're in the fight and we're prepared to back you, now you walk in the back. That's the same thing Nick Cannon did when he made the statement about the Israelites and the Black Hebrews. If you said something, stand on it. You can't be a revolutionist without a war.
Talk about it. Um, and talking about all of this, we're gonna say rest in power to take off. That is a sensitive subject in the black community as of right now. Amidst everything else that's going on in the state of Colorado, we're known for mass shootings. It's so much going on, and the fact that Takeoff was known as being one of the most humble, quiet, conservative of the Migos, it's really shocking that, like, regardless if you're the loudest in the bunch or the one that just sits and watch, a bullet has no name.
I got another take on this. Saw a couple of guys saying that, oh, because of Takeoff's music and the way the Migos came out, I see why this happened, and this, that, and other. It's funny how in the black community, where a artist can somehow become the art. Like, none of us have ever thought that Al Pacino sits around and snorts cocaine all day, but we all identify with the character Scarface. So if something happened to Al Pacino, we wouldn't say, "Oh, well, he was down in Miami snorting cocaine, had a tiger tied up." So what does Takeoff's music have to do with this young man being killed? And the quality of life in the black community has somehow completely diminished. When I was growing up, and I know I'm dating myself, but when I was growing up, the only death in the rap community we had, I never heard Big L rap, but I knew of Big L. Big L was dead. And then we had Pac and then Biggie. And I mean, our community was shook for years behind that. Over the past 2 years, just 2 years, it's already been over 10 rappers killed, whether it be in robberies, whether it be in just blatant fights, whether it be over rap beef. Somehow we've forgotten the precious part of life is living. It's not the money, it's not the clout, it's being here. And anybody who doesn't understand that Takeoff was simply an artist, you've got to know that a mother lost a son, brothers lost brothers. I don't know. Did he have any kids? Well, I don't know if his child lost a father, but I do know that we are mourning the death of another one in our community. And at some point in time, we got to look at the quality of life, man.
Honestly, it's not even just the quality of life, it's the state of humanity. Because now you got panhandlers using the sympathy and kindness, and they're skipping out on jobs tax free, just taking the kindness of someone else. It, right now, if you guys haven't known, the Kia and Hyundai people are breaking into cars and stealing the entire vehicle and stripping it down. These are people's livelihoods. People drive for Uber full time. And it's just the fact that there are very few and far in between that just genuinely care about being a human. And for, like I said, for someone like Takeoff, who not only minded his business, but cared about people and knew when and what to say, for him to be gone, may he rest in power. It should really just shake the earth, because it could literally be anyone. And it doesn't matter if you're the loudest in the group or the most quiet.
Shout out to our homegirl Franny. So speaking on the quality of life, and the human side of things. A lot of people are talking about the Drake verse when he's talking about Meg and the shooting and this that, and other. Now my position is clear on this. Men who hit women don't hit men. So I got no respect for that. So if Tory Lanez did shoot this woman, then you know what I'm saying he's trash. And you can quote me on that. I've seen him a couple of times in Inglewood. It is what it is. Tory Lanez, if you shot a woman, you're trash. My thing is, in our community, at some point in time, we got to understand as people that Meg, if she did get shot by Tory Lanez, and the reason this man is free to shoot another young black woman, if something happens to the next woman, that's on her because she didn't press charges. She didn't do anything. This is the same thing with the person that killed Takeoff left with Quavo. So I'm gonna say that again. I want you guys to really let that sink in. The man who killed Takeoff, his cousin, left with Quavo and Offset. So everybody talking about Jay Prince, this, that. No, this wasn't a Houston thing. This happened in Houston. This wasn't. This was not what the first media reports were. This was not some Houston gangsters getting into it with some Atlanta rappers at a dice party. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. So do your own research, but just know that's not what happened. The person that shot Takeoff left with Quavo and Offset because they were employed by him. So here it is, the black community screaming, we got to stick together. No snitching is the conduct, and this, that, and other. No snitching reply, that applies to gangsters. If you're a civilian, then you're supposed to tell the police. That's what the police are for. Now, if that's not what you're about, and everybody talking about street justice, this, that, and other, well, stop talking like that. Quit. I mean, really, just quit talking like that. Like this is the problem, and we talking about always sticking together. So, like I was saying, the white people know Brett Favre stole money from Mississippi. The white people aren't on social media with a GoFundMe trying to get Brett Favre money. But we got black people that's trying to help Kanye get back to $1 billion who didn't do anything for him when he had it. Make that make sense, man.
I'm speechless on that part. Honestly, like, and Kanye is completely has lost his marbles and they're scattered across the biggest mall in America, right? But when he said that they didn't even give him the notoriety of being a billionaire, yet they falsified Kylie Jenner, who lied about her finances, I give it to him. But at the end of the day, he forgot he was a black man. And we're not getting back in the Kanye thing, but I just want people to open their eyes. If we're talking about like LeBron Jameses of the industries, whether it be athleticism, music, any of that, art, you got to be giving into your community for us to give back to you. When that black guy was killed by the white girl, he tore down every black woman he ever spoke on, and then turned around and everyone wanted us to defend him, but he told us we weren't worth it. So what is it? Is there any difference when Kanye isn't pushing the black envelope, but yet wants our sympathy?
It's not even so much him pushing the black envelope. So I was speaking to my brother Omar earlier this week, and I want to be clear on this. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that everything Kanye West says about the black man being the original Jew, and everything that Kyrie Irving says about the movie Hebrews and Negroes. Let's say that's all true, even though that has a lot of propaganda that was propagated by Adolf Hitler. That's a whole nother story. Let's say all that's the truth. Then please explain to me how Kanye West, who is supposed to be standing up for blacks, the original Jew, the black Jew, will go into biz with Adidas that was founded by Nazis. Help me understand that. Because Adolf Hitler did not like black people, and he surely did not like the Jews. And when he found out about the 3/5 test, the 1 drop of blood test that the United States was using to determine whether a person was black or not, he thought that was too harsh because he had to find out if anybody had any Jewish or Negro blood in them. So why on earth would Kanye West be signed to Adidas?
we're gonna move on from that. Let me get y'all comments in the comments section. Hit us up on the YouTube channel so we can keep this going. You also have our Instagram as well as our Facebooks. We're gonna open all of that up. Everything is better Benefield. Even though we are No Apology Podcast, we will be switching a few things up later to date. But Jerry Lee Lewis, Great Balls of Fire, died October 28th. No, I am not sad.
You didn't do it. I clapped. This is my problem. So we're supposed to say R. Kelly's okay because Jerry Lee Lewis molested his cousin and married her. No, they're both trash. And the black community shouldn't rally around him. And for the white community that rallied around him, Jimmy Swaggart, who I actually got a chance to see preach when I was younger. My mom actually took me to a revival that Jimmy Swaggart was preaching at. This man spoke as if this man wasn't the guy that married his own cousin. And when I say his own cousin, I mean not just Jerry Lee Lewis's cousin, but he married Jimmy Swaggart's too because they're related. And she was a child. So no, I don't have any sympathy for him. We've got to understand that, of course, we're supposed to stand together as people. But standing for something does not mean that you have to accept everything. And that is what we're running into. We cannot continue to pick and choose what's right and what's wrong. We all know what's right and what's wrong. We all have a moral compass. If a person does something in our community that allows them to be exiled from our community, then we should stand up as a people and do that.
See, but if we're gonna start exiling, we gotta hold people accountable. When Big Mama and them want to hold Uncle JJ after he done touched on little Raekwon and little Alicia, we gotta step in on that. And that whole what happens in this house stays in this house. That's for the birds, honestly, because when you keep your mouth shut, nothing gets healed. Nothing. When you just cover something up, it can never be healed. And I'm telling you, it's enough generational curses and childhood traumas that are carrying on through our generations and generations to come. If we don't break this cycle, then we are going to continue to demolish ourselves.
I bet you this. I bet if Meg had to told those police that Tory Lane shot me, he would either taken a plea or they'd have went to trial and prove he did it or not. You know what that does? Drake doesn't have anything to write about. He can't say she's lying. Because the truth would have came out. The truth would have came out. If Takeoff was killed by an accident because the so-called shooter had a switch on a gun that he didn't know how to handle and shot his own guy, hit by friendly fire, you stand there and tell the police that. You say, listen, this was an accident. I came with this man. You know I wouldn't do anything to him, and these are my character witnesses. They got the money to bond him out and get an attorney, but they're acting like these things didn't happen, sweeping these things under the rug, this is not helping our community. It's just not. It's actually dividing the community because you're making people choose sides on a situation where they should not have to choose on. We should all be able to decide that if Uncle JJ felt on somebody's niece or nephew, he's wrong. It doesn't matter that he was a good mechanic. So why does it matter that R. Kelly was a good musician?
But that goes for R. Kelly. That goes for Quavo because you got to be accountable. If you know these things happen, you need to say something. That goes for Kanye because you can't just use people for your benefit and you cannot sweep things under the rug. That is the problem I have. And me, I consider myself a Houston hottie, even though I'm not from Houston. I am a Meg Thee Stallion supporter. Not only is this girl number one in the rap game or on the top tier of it, but she's also pushing on her education as well as honoring the people that passed on before her. And my thing is this, in the medical records, it shows bullet fragments in her foot. So she was injured. People are talking about, well, she just released she dropped a music video the next week. Those are weeks into progress. And I'm not justifying the behavior, but my thing is, if it was such a big deal, just like she said she didn't have sex with so-and-so and this person and that person, she should be able to stand up and say, hey, this dude shot me, somebody do something about it.
And that's the truth. There's no two ways about it, because if Tory Lanez, if it was an accident, then say it was an accident. If it was something else, and this is a man that has a problem with violence against women, then why on earth would we allow him to just continue to run through our community and hurt more of our women? It's not like the average girl is going to run into him and say something if the superstar didn't. This is how the the keep quiet mentality gets passed on. So now, if what do they call the Heidi coach?
Yeah,
The Houston Heidi coach? Okay. So anybody that's following her now, if their man does something to them, is it going to be okay? Because if my coach said not to tell, then I'm doing what my coach said do. That's not acceptable. And again, I do not know what happened. We did a show about this a year ago. I can only tell you the same things that were reported that everyone else is seeing. Only people that know who actually shot her is Meg and Tori. They were there. And the little one of the Jenner girls, Kylie was there. So if she's not saying anything, I really don't understand how other people can get upset about it. Because obviously she's not mad about it.
I feel like this is one of those things, like we said on the show last week, about family business. When you tell somebody, "Hey, I'm mad at them," and everybody else is mad, people like no one said anything after the incident happened, and then Tory Lanez leaked his own business to the paparazzi, right, to get his name back up because he's not really putting any hot music out, right? And tying this back to Jerry Lee Lewis, as a female, when you are in an uncomfortable situation with a man, it is up to you to say something, but it is up to society to stand behind you on that. Because there's plenty of times that women actually do stand up for themselves and they're pushed on the back burner. And then there's times in domestic situations, oh, that's my friend. Oh, I love him. Oh, he only said he'll do it one time. Me being a past victim of DV, it's different. And if you allow it to happen once, you'll allow it to happen again.
My thing is, I agree with you that is on society to stand up for any victim, whether it be a child that's being victimized or a woman that is being victimized. Absolutely, especially in our community. It says it takes a village. That is part of our village. Those are our people. We're supposed to stand up for them. The problem is, what do we stand up for? She hasn't said he done anything. She hasn't said he done anything. All we've heard is him say, "I didn't do it." But we have, if Meg says, Tory Lanez shot me, I don't care what the reason was, I'm against that as a man. I'm against Tory Lanez using violence on a woman, especially with a gun. I am 1,000% against that. But Meg has not said that Tory Lanez shot me. Not one time.
But how many situations have there been where women have cried out and nothing was done?
Listen, then we'll get on their helmet. But listen, if society, if Meg comes out and says he shot me and they arrest this dude in the morning, anybody who says that, oh, I can't believe she waited this long as another, I'll be right on their helmet. I give you my word, I'm going to be right on them. How stupid do you sound? The reason she didn't say anything was because of people like you. I'm going to be right on their helmet. But she has to give me an opportunity to do that. She has to give me an opportunity to do that. The same with Quavo and Offset. If there's an accident, say that, man. Say that. If that's not what happened, and you guys feel like this is a street issue, that's fine too. Handle it. But don't let this try to fall a defeat of Jay Prince like Jay Prince did. There is no way Jay Prince has an event at his son's club and sends his other son to the event and have people shooting at the Migos. He wouldn't do that. Doesn't make sense. You wouldn't put your own family in harm's way like that. Another thing that we're going to address is voting. The midterm elections are Tuesday. We've got to get out and vote. Last night on SNL, Amy Schumer was on there, and she took a couple shots at not only Kanye, but she at the end of the show, she wore her I Love Jews t-shirt, which I don't have a problem with at all, because you can be for your people and not be against somebody else. It sounds silly when people say, oh, if you're for the Black Lives Matter movement, that means you're against white people or you're against police officers, this and another. No, the Black Lives Matter movement means that you don't have to be associated with the Black Lives Matter platform, but you are against what Black Lives Matter stand for, and that is police brutality. So Amy Schumer, kudos to you for showing up and showing out. You did a pretty good job last night. Had a couple of funny jokes, but more importantly, like I said, her and Cecily Strong said a lot about abortions, a lot of stuff that's going to be on this midterm ballot, a lot of big decisions. Oprah Winfrey came out, and this is key for Black people. Key, Black people, stop thinking that you have to vote down the ticket all Democrat because that's what we've been taught. Same goes for Republicans. You want to vote for whoever is doing what you need and what you want as a citizen. Oprah Winfrey, who built Dr. Oz, came out yesterday and is in full support and threw her support behind his opponent, Fetterman.
My biggest thing is this. um, Backtracking to Amy Schumer, shout out to her. If anyone knows me, they know I am a strong full force feminist. But also she threw shots at Kanye in the opening monologue, as well as little subliminals from the matzo ball soup to the T-shirt. Basically, in my eyes, I thought she was more like a, well, hey, I am here. Even though the industry is different, the effect is still the same. You know what I'm saying? If he's gonna call out, little one has some stuff to say as well. If you're gonna call out one Jew, you call out all Jews, basically. And if we as Black people could band up the way they do, I think that was always our biggest problem. We have all this bark and little bite nowadays. And I just pushing on to the Oprah thing. Oprah has big influence, man. It we don't even have enough time on this podcast to talk about it. But she has big influence. When you are voting on November 8th, this Tuesday, make sure you're not just looking at the names, oh, this sounds Black, because I've done that before my first time voting when I wasn't completely educated on who was on my ballot. I will be honest. Huh? Oh, I can edit it
Okay. Well, my thing is just getting back to Oprah and her influence as well as her power. Oprah put George W. Bush in the White House as well as Barack Obama. Her party affiliation, if anything, it'd be more of an independent because, as I said, Dr. Oz is a Republican candidate in Pennsylvania running for senator, and she is a supporter of Fetterman. Now, Black people, just so we're clear, Fetterman is not the greatest candidate. If you look at his history, when he was mayor, he pulled a shotgun on a black jogger and chased him around. He does have a lot of baggage, a lot, and a lot of things he's done in adverse to the black community's agenda, as well as Black people. However, he's better than Dr. Oz. This is a situation where we just happen to have uh, the devil we know. If it, just to be honest, so, yeah, two of the lesser evil. This is what it is. But it just shocked me that people thought that Oprah would just be some puppet and be backing Dr. Oz because she started Dr. Oz's career. So let me say it again. Dr. Oz didn't start her career. She started Dr. Oz's career. So why on earth would she need to show her allegiance? It doesn't work like that. And by her endorsing Fetterman, that just proves that point.
And since we're on the point of power, we're going to talk about our government, right? We all know what November 25th is, and some know what it stands for, some don't. But in this household, coming into a new age of parenthood, we are talking about making it Recognition Day. Not just Thanksgiving, because some things were done, and we need to acknowledge that. We can't just erase history, even though people try to. But we're gonna pay recognition and homage to it. That it was not only a massacre, but it was also the overcoming of our people. One thing about it that I genuinely didn't understand, as the African American race, as Black people, we don't have a history, a lick, a nothing of being violent other than revolting against oppressors. So how is it that we are deemed some of the most hostile savages to ever face the earth? Yet, those of paler skin tones have ravaged entire countries and raped and robbed. I, You know what? I said enough. But on November 25th, we are actually going to be celebrating Recognition Day. And next, for our parental portion of that, as far as parents, we are teaching him not only history, but the true history and making sure that he has his own opinion on things. Our parental portion goes to RSV. It is basically just getting an understanding, you guys. This is a virus that is out affecting the respiratory systems of our young ones. It is highly contagious and can be transferred through adults. Make sure you get your shots. I just got my booster when I went to the doctor on Friday. A few symptoms to look out for in your children is panting or heavy breathing. Coughs are the general symptoms. It is an upper respiratory infection. Check out rsvandme.com for signs and symptoms. And also make sure you get in touch with your doctor if you have any of those symptoms or if you just want to get the baby checked out.
Yeah, and just to touch on that, a lot of people are, because of the amount of people that's been vaccinated and the COVID numbers being down, people I've noticed a lot of people are going right back to like these things didn't happen, and we should still not be in each other's faces. For you dirty people, you should still be washing your hands. You can't just be touching on people, and I don't want you coming up breathing on our child. Don't you? Not trying to be funny. Don't come and start breathing on him, man. Like, cause I'm gonna ask you to like give him 50 feet. Like that's just respect. Because even though you may not feel anything, you can still get a baby sick. And because he can't tell you, hey, I'm having a hard time breathing, or I can't taste this, or this, that, and other, you shouldn't be in a child's face, man.
And that goes for our elderly too. We know how we love Big Mama and them. Um, my thing is this: if you feel bad, just off the news alone with this RSV and how it's ramping up and basically overfilling the children's hospitals in our areas, we decided reluctantly not to go to service. We know that they love our baby. We know that they love us. But the last thing we want to do is bring something home to him or they give him something. And not only as parents, but as humans, when we weren't feeling well, when COVID was running wild, even now, when we don't feel good, we address it. And you can't just power through these things anymore because we don't know what's out here. And that's the thing. Wash your hands. Germex, isopropyl alcohol kills 99.9% germs. Get you some bleach. I don't know why they went crazy over the toilet tissue with the COVID. But get you some bleach, get you some lemons, get you some white vinegar. Clean yourself, clean your house, clean your room. You know what I'm saying? Clean the back of your ears. All right. Um, but as far as politics, we're gonna take a step back here. Trump took shots at DeSantis. Okay. Um, Casey spoke to Hoyt. It listen, I don't know where Trump thinks he's going to be running in 2024. I don't understand about Kanye and these 2024 hats. But my thing is this: you have a subpoena from the Southern District of New York regarding this January 6th case. And you are worried, you're in Pennsylvania, not only throwing out dog whistles to your MAGA people, but you are actually taking shots at the contender for the presidency for the Republicans.
That's the funny thing, because he's in Pennsylvania supporting Dr. Oz. That's one of the main reasons why Oprah had no support or nothing to do with that. Oprah knows that she's not going to tie her brand to something that is damaging to the brand. That's number one. But number two, I spoke to Gregory this morning, and we talked about 45 as well as his constant attack on Ron DeSantis out of Florida. This is the best thing that can happen to the Democratic Party, because what he's going to do in essence is he's going to split the Republican vote. And if he couldn't beat Joe Biden with all the Republicans, him nor DeSantis is going to be able to beat Joe Biden with half. That's just a fact. And there's no scenario where 45 comes to the Republican convention and shakes DeSantis' hands and tells him, all right, bro, go get Biden. That's never going to happen. He's going to already, you hear them talking about they're not going to accept the results of certain elections. They're already gearing up to say, oh, it was robbed or it was rigged or it was stolen, this, that, and other. So just be on the watch and be on the lookout for the circus that's coming to town, because the clown with the orange face, the big floppy shoes, and the toupee, that's 45, former president.
And still shout out to Joe Biden. He's doing his best, okay, people? And there was a Facebook post for one of my former classmates, basically stating, I'm not homeless or hungry. I'm a Republican and you should vote too, or something around those lines. My thing is this: if that's the case and Biden's been in office, then it's Biden that keeps you fed and out of the street.
Yeah, that's her friend. Those are Facebook fights that I've learned to avoid. Shout out to Aaron and LaShonda Washington, because I stay in Facebook jail trying to educate people on things that I think are important, but I'm not doing that anymore. You can believe what you want to believe. That's why we're putting the podcast out. Do your own research. If we say something that you might find to be an adverse opinion, like people were asking me why, people in my DMs asking why won't the George Floyd family be able to sue Kanye West? And then I saw people saying, oh, Kanye West apologized, so the lawsuit is over. It doesn't work like that. Defamation means that you said something damaging monetarily to somebody. Apologizing for it doesn't take that back. The reason he won't be able to sue him is because you can't defame somebody with an adverse opinion.
My thing is this: if an apology can wipe things clear, let me go walk in a Key Bank, Wells Fargo, and then tell them I'm sorry afterwards.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. So having an adverse opinion, it just means that even if you're in a minority, like, that's the part that people are missing. So let's say that for the sake of argument, that Kyrie Irving is 1,000% correct. You cannot. Every company has a conduct and a policy program. There's things you can and cannot say per the company. It doesn't negate your free speech. Like, I'm not against Kanye or Kyrie Irving saying whatever they want and however they feel. My problem is, if you're going to start comparing these people to the great late Muhammad Ali, then I want them to do the same thing he did. Muhammad Ali, we miss the best years of the best fighter of all time because he stood up and stood for what he believed in. Like, that's a fact. I'm not talking about any money. It went all the way to the Supreme Court for him to even get a license to fight. And that's because he stood up for what he believed in. He didn't go the coward route. He didn't run in Canada like a lot of draft dodgers. He didn't do any of that. He says, I am not going to fight the Viet Cong. My oppressor is right here in America. You want me to go fight somebody that ain't did nothing to me, but the people here won't even stand up for me? That's what he stood on, man.
And that's what we're facing today. Muhammad Ali had common sense. My thing is this: we have to learn to look outside the bubble in which we built around ourselves. My thing is, we get too complacent. That's why a lot of people haven't voted. That's why people aren't wearing their mask and washing their nasty little hands. My thing is, you need to push the envelope. If you feel like you've done enough, you need to take an extra mile and do a little bit more.
So we covered politics. We covered pop culture. We also covered just adverse views and the law. If there's any subject matter that you guys believe should be a topic of discussion, or you guys want to hear our take on it, please leave it in the comments. We have no problem going through every comment made and making sure that your voice is heard, even though it sounds like us when you hear it.
Mm-hmm. And also, that's all we've got today. And remember, you said what you said, so stand on it and have no apology. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, you guys. My name is Mo.
My name is Casey.
And have a good one.